The sun was dipping low over the dusty range, turning the air thick and golden. I was out there alone, just me and my rifle, running through my usual sniper drills. Harper, my wife of 8 years, had come along to watch, like she sometimes did when she wanted a break from the city chaos. She stood way off to the side, maybe 200 yards out, fiddling with her phone, laughing at something on the screen. I sighted in on the distant targets, steady breath, finger light on the trigger. Crack. The shot rang out clean, but when the echo faded, her scream cut through the silence. She crumpled to the ground, clutching her side, blood soaking her shirt. I dropped everything and sprinted toward her, heart pounding like a drum in my chest. How? It was supposed to be empty out there, just practice dummies. But as I reached her, her eyes locked on mine, wide with shock and something else. Fear? Regret? Logan! Why? She whispered, before going still. In that moment, everything I thought we had built together shattered, leaving me staring at the woman I loved, wondering if the bullet that hit her was meant for someone else entirely. Hit like, subscribe for more betrayal stories, and comment your city or country. I knelt there in the dirt, Harper's head in my lap, my hands pressing against the wound that wouldn't stop bleeding. The range was isolated, miles from help, and my phone signal was spotty at best. Hang on, Harper. Just hang on, I muttered, my voice cracking as I dialed 911. The operator's calm questions felt like knives. Where are we? What happened? Is she breathing? I answered on autopilot, my SEAL training kicking in to keep me steady, but inside, panic clawed at me. She was my rock, the one who got me through the deployments, the nightmares. We met back when I was fresh out of BUD/S, her smile pulling me out of the darkness. Now, that same smile was gone, twisted in pain. Sirens wailed in the distance what felt like hours later, but it was probably only 20 minutes. Paramedics swarmed us, loading her onto a stretcher while I rode in the ambulance, gripping her hand. The doctor at the ER shook his head as they wheeled her into surgery. Gunshot to the abdomen, Logan. She's lost a lot of blood. We're doing everything we can. I paced the waiting room, replaying the shot in my head. I was a Navy SEAL sniper. Precision was my life. How did I miss so badly? The targets were clear, no silhouettes near her spot. No, that was crazy. It had to be a ricochet or something stupid like that. Hours dragged on. My brother, Adrian, showed up first, his face pale as he hugged me tight. What the hell happened out there, man? Harper. She's tough, she'll pull through. He worked construction, always the steady one in the family, but his eyes darted away when I tried to explain the drill. Then came my mom, Clara, fussing over me with coffee from the vending machine. You poor thing. This is a nightmare. Our marriage wasn't perfect. Long absences from mission strained things, but Harper and I always talked it out. Or so I thought. The surgeon emerged around midnight, scrubbing his hands. She's stable, Mr. Ellis. The bullet missed major organs, but she'll need time to recover. You can see her soon. Relief hit me like a wave, but it was short-lived. When I finally sat by her bed, tubes snaking everywhere, she looked so small. Her eyes fluttered open, and she squeezed my hand weakly. Logan, it hurts. I brushed her hair back, forcing a smile. You're gonna be okay. Rest now. But as she drifted off, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Tell no one about the range. Or next time, it's you. My blood ran cold. Who sent that? And why? The next few days blurred into hospital visits and police questions. The cops, led by Detective Grant, poked around the range, calling it an unfortunate accident during my personal target practice. I explained my routine. Retired SEALs like me keep sharp on private land. No charges, but they took my rifle for ballistics. Adrian stuck close, helping with paperwork, but he seemed off, avoiding eye contact. One evening, as I sat with Harper, she murmured something about mistakes, and I'm sorry. I chalked it up to the pain meds, but doubt crept in. Our marriage had cracks lately. Her late nights at work, The way she'd pull away when I asked about her day. Was there more to this? Discharge day came, and bringing Harper home felt like stepping into a minefield. Our house in the suburbs looked the same, white picket fence, her flower garden, but everything inside me screamed different. She moved slow, wincing with every step, while I played nurse, cooking meals and fetching pills. Clara dropped by with casseroles, her worry lines deeper. "You two need each other now more than ever," she said, hugging us both. But that night, as Harper slept, I slipped into her office to grab her laptop charger. The screen was still on, password-free like always. Emails popped up, dozens from a guy named Felix, her coworker. "Missed you last night. Can't wait for our next getaway." Photos attached. Them together, laughing in a hotel room, her arm around him. My stomach twisted. How long? Months? Years? I slammed the laptop shut, while rising in my throat. Betrayal hit harder than any bullet. Harper, the woman I vowed to protect, had been cheating right under my nose. And now this accident at the range. Was it connected? The text I'd gotten echoed in my head. I needed answers, but confronting her now, while she recovered, felt wrong. Instead, I watched her sleep, the monitor's beeps from the hospital fresh in my mind, wondering if the shot that nearly killed her was karma catching up, or something darker aimed at silencing her secrets. Family pressure built fast. Adrian called the next morning, insisting on a barbecue to lift spirits. "Come on, Logan. Harper needs normalcy." I agreed, but as we grilled burgers in the backyard, Clara pulled me aside. "She's been distant lately. You notice anything?" I lied, nodding vaguely. Harper sat quietly, picking at her food, her eyes avoiding mine. Felix texted her during lunch. I saw the phone light up. She excused herself, and when she came back, her face was flushed. That evening, alone in the garage, I cleaned my spare gear, the weight of my sniper days pressing down. Seals don't break, we endure. But this was tearing me apart. Then came the first real crack. Harper's phone rang while she showered. Clara's number, but the voice on the other end was a man's, deep and urgent. I answered before thinking. Who is this? Silence. Then, wrong number. But I recognized the voice from her emails. Felix. My hands shook as I hung up. Harper emerged, towel-wrapped, and saw my face. What's wrong? I forced calm. Nothing. Just tired. But inside, rage simmered, quiet and cold like a long-range scope locking on. As night fell, Harper reached for me in bed, her touch tentative. I love you, Logan. Us, it's all I need. Tears welled in her eyes, but I pulled away gently. Trust was gone, shattered like glass under a boot. Sleep evaded me, thoughts racing to the range, the shot, the secrets piling up. What if the bullet wasn't random? What if someone wanted her out of the picture? For Felix? For money? For revenge of their own? And as dawn broke, a knock at the door jolted me awake. It was Detective Grant, face grim. We found something at the range, Mr. Ellis. You need to come down to the station. Detective Grant's cruiser pulled up to the station, the morning fog still clinging to the streets like a bad memory. I slid into the passenger seat, my mind a whirlwind from the night before. Harper's flushed face after that call, the emails burning in my brain. This isn't about charges, Logan, Grant said, his voice gravelly from too many coffees. But we pulled prints off a shell casing near your range. Not yours. My gut tightened. A shell casing? I hadn't fired more than that one shot. The drive felt endless, each red light stretching the silence between us. Inside the dimly lit interrogation room. No, he called it a consultation. Grant laid out photos on the table. The range in daylight, markers where Harper fell, and a close-up of the casing glinting in the dirt. Preliminary ballistics say it matches your rifle's caliber, but the rifling's off. Someone else fired recently. I leaned in, tracing the image with my finger. Who would sneak onto my land? Private property, posted signs everywhere. Grant watched me close. You got enemies from your SEAL days? Old missions? I shook my head, but doubt flickered. Deployments left ghosts, sure, but nothing that followed me home. He slid over a file next. And this, your wife's phone records. Calls to an unknown number, late nights. We checked after the incident report. My throat went dry. Felix. Had to be. I played it cool. She's got work friends. Nothing unusual. Grant raised an eyebrow. 100 calls in 3 months? Looks personal. He didn't push, but his eyes said he knew I was holding back. As we wrapped up, he handed me a copy of the report. Stay available, Ellis. This might not stay an accident. Driving home, the report burned a hole in my glove compartment. Harper was up when I walked in, sitting at the kitchen table with a mug of tea, her bandage peeking from under her shirt. "Where were you?" she asked, voice soft but edged with worry. I set the keys down hard. "Police. Found evidence at the range." Her face paled, and she looked away, stirring her tea endlessly. "What kind?" I didn't answer right away, just poured myself coffee, the steam rising like unspoken accusations. "Finally," I said, "someone was there before me. Shells that aren't mine." She nodded too quickly. "Probably kids messing around. You worry too much." But her hands trembled on the mug. The day dragged, me hovering like a shadow while she rested on the couch, flipping through magazines without reading. Clara called mid-afternoon, her voice bright but forced. "How's my girl? Need me to come over?" Harper perked up. "Yeah, Mom." Logan's being overprotective. I excused myself to the garage, spreading the police report on my workbench. The unknown number traced back to a burner phone, but one detail jumped out. Calls clustered around dates I'd been away on training. While I was gone, she was building something else. Felix's face from those photos haunted me, his arm around her waist like he owned the moment. Adrian swung by later with groceries, his truck rumbling up the drive. "Heard from the cops?" he asked, unloading bags. I nodded, helping carry them in. Harper greeted him with a hug, lingering a second too long. "Thanks for coming, bro." We chatted surface stuff, weather, his latest job site, but tension hummed under it all. As he left, he clapped my shoulder. "You look wrecked, man. Talk to me if you need." I wanted to, about the affair, the shot, everything. But blood is thicker, and Harper was family now. Evening brought a quiet storm. Harper insisted on cooking dinner, a simple pasta to feel normal. We ate in silence mostly, forks scraping plates. Then she broke it. "Logan, about the range. I shouldn't have been so close. My fault." Her eyes searched mine, pleading. I set my fork down. "Was it? Or were you meeting someone out there?" The words hung heavy. She blinked, tears welling. "What? No, I was just watching you." But her voice cracked, and she pushed her plate away. I didn't press, yet. Instead, I cleared the table, my mind racing to the next step. If the shot wasn't random, who benefited? Her lover? A jealous rival? Sleep came fitful that night, dreams mixing rifle cracks with Harper's whispers. I woke to her stirring beside me, murmuring in her sleep. "Felix, don't." My heart stopped. She bolted upright, realizing I'd heard. "Bad dream," she said quickly, turning away. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, the pieces shifting. This wasn't just cheating. It was deeper, tangled with whatever happened at the range. The next morning, I called in a favor from an old SEAL buddy, Mason, now a private investigator. Dig into Harper's co-worker, Felix Harlan. Discreetly. Mason didn't ask why, just grunted agreement. "On it. You okay?" I wasn't, but I said yes. While waiting, I drove back to the range alone, walking the perimeter. The spot where she fell looked innocent now, grass trampled flat. But tucked under a bush, half buried, I found a cigarette, but not mine, not Harper's. I pocketed it, pulse quickening. Evidence of a watcher? Back home, Harper was on the phone in the living room, voice low. "I can't talk now." "Yes, he's suspicious." She hung up as I entered, forcing a smile. "Work stuff." Lies stacked like ammo. Clara arrived then, bearing more food and concern. "You two need counseling after this," she said, settling in. Harper agreed too eagerly. As they talked, I slipped away to check my email. Mason's first report. Felix had a record, minor fraud, nothing big. But he'd been seen with Harper at a motel 2 towns over. Photos attached, time-stamped last month. Family lunch turned awkward when Adrian joined, the 4 of us around the table. Clara steered conversation to safer ground. Holidays, plans, but I caught Harper glancing at her phone under the table. A text from Felix, no doubt. Adrian noticed too, his jaw tightening. "Everything all right, sis?" She nodded, but the air thickened. After they left, Harper confronted me in the hallway. "You're acting strange, Logan. Like you don't trust me." I met her gaze. "Should I?" She stormed off to the bedroom, door clicking shut. Alone, I pieced more together. The shell casing, the burner phone, Felix's shady past. It pointed to sabotage. But why her? Was the shot meant to scare, or worse? As dusk fell, my phone buzzed, an anonymous tip. "Check Felix's garage. Keys to your range gate." I grabbed my keys, heart hammering. This was crossing a line, but staying put wasn't an option. Slipping out quietly, I headed into the night. The weight of betrayal pulling me toward answers that could destroy everything. The night air bit cold as I pulled up a block from Felix's place, an old ranch house on the edge of town where the streetlights faded into darkness. My truck idled quiet, headlights off, just like I'd learned in the shadows of missions long past. The anonymous tip replayed in my head. Keys to the range gate in his garage. If true, it meant he'd been there, watching, maybe even setting up that shot. Harper was home asleep, or pretending to be, oblivious to me slipping out. I couldn't wait anymore. The doubt was eating me alive, turning our home into a cage of whispers and half-truths. I cut the engine and walked the rest, sticking to fences and yard shadows. Felix's garage door was cracked open, a sliver of light spilling from inside like an invitation or a trap. No cars in the drive, but music thumped low from the house. He was home, heart steady from old habits. I edged closer, peering through the gap. Tools scattered on benches, a workbench cluttered with papers, and what looked like gun parts. Navy surplus, maybe. My eyes locked on a hook by the door. Keys dangling, labeled with my range's gate code in Sharpie. Proof. I snapped a quick photo with my phone, breath shallow. But as I leaned in for a better angle, a floorboard creaked behind me. I froze. Footsteps, heavy. "Who's there?" Felix's voice, rough from what smelled like beer. I ducked behind a stack of crates, pulse racing but controlled. He stepped into the garage, flipping on a brighter light, scanning the shadows. Tall guy, built like he hit the gym sporadic, wearing a faded band tee. He muttered to himself, grabbing a wrench like it was a weapon. "Damn raccoons again." He poked around, close enough I could see the sweat on his neck, then headed back inside, door slamming shut. I waited 5 minutes, 10, until the music picked up and no more sounds came. Slipping in, I snatched the keys, cold metal in my palm, and tucked them in my pocket. A quick rifle through the bench drawers revealed more, a map of my property, marked with the range coordinates, and a receipt for ammo, same caliber as the stray casing. This wasn't coincidence. Felix had been planning something, crossing lines into my world. I backed out silent, adrenaline buzzing, and made it to my truck without a hitch. Back home, the house was dark, Harper's soft breathing from our room the only sound. I eased the door shut, keys heavy in my hand. Sleep? No chance. I sat at the kitchen table under the dim bulb, staring at the photo and map on my phone. Why my range? Why her? The affair made sense for jealousy, but this felt calculated, like protecting a bigger secret. I forwarded everything to Mason, my PI buddy. Got a lead. Dig deeper on Felix. Ties to the range. Anything shady. His reply came fast. On it. Stay safe, brother. Morning light filtered through the curtains, and Harper stirred early, padding into the kitchen in her robe. "You were up late," she said, pouring coffee, eyes avoiding mine. I nodded, sipping my own. Couldn't sleep. thinking about the police stuff. She sat across from me, fingers tracing the mug's rim. Me too. It's scary, Logan. What if it wasn't an accident? Her voice trembled, genuine fear there, or maybe guilt. I slid the keys across the table casually, like they were mine. Found these in the garage. Old spares. She glanced at them, color draining from her face. Those, yeah, for the gate. But her hand shook as she pushed them back. Adrian called then, breaking the tension. Hey, thought I'd swing by with lunch. Clara's making her chili. Harper brightened a bit. Sounds good. We need the company. They arrived an hour later, the smell of spices filling the air. We ate in the living room, bowls balanced on knees, small talk flowing easy at first, work gripes, neighborhood gossip. But Clara noticed Harper's quiet spells. You okay, honey? Still hurting. Harper forced a smile. Just tired. Adrian shot me a look, like he sensed the undercurrent. As we cleared plates, he pulled me aside in the hall. She seems off. You two fighting. I hesitated. Something like that. He clapped my back. Talk it out. Family sticks. After they left, the quiet returned heavier. Harper retreated to the couch with a book, but I saw her thumbing her phone instead. I stepped out to the porch for air, dialing Mason. Update. He paused. Felix Harlan. Works in logistics at Harper's firm, but he's got side gigs. Small-time fencing, nothing major. And get this. He was discharged from reserves last year after a friendly fire incident. Knows his way around a rifle. My mind reeled. Reserves? That explained the gear. Any link to the range? Mason chuckled dark. Your property borders an old access road he uses for hunting trips. Logged entries on a forum. So he'd been scouting. I hung up and went back inside, finding Harper dozing. Her phone lay on the armrest, screen unlocked. Temptation 1. Scrolling recent messages. Felix, frantic. We need to talk. The keys, did he find them? This is getting out of hand. Out of hand. What this? My chest tightened. I deleted the thread quick, heart sinking at the betrayal's depth. She wasn't just cheating. She was entangled in whatever scheme he had brewing. But why risk the range? Why me? Afternoon brought a visitor, Detective Grant, unannounced, knocking firm. Harper answered, surprised. Mr. Ellis? Can we talk privately? He glanced at her, then me. We stepped onto the porch. Forensics on that casing. Fresh, less than a week old. And it matches ammo sold to a Felix Harlan. Boom. I kept my face neutral. You know him? Grant eyed me. Harper's co-worker. Ring any bells? I shook my head slow. Heard the name. What? He handed me a subpoena notice. We're bringing him in tomorrow. Thought you'd want to know. As he drove off, Harper hovered in the doorway, pale. What was that about? I turned to her. They're closing in on who was at the range. She crossed her arms, defensive. And I stepped closer, voice low. You tell me, Harper. What's Felix to you, really? Her eyes widened, tears spilling. He's a friend. Nothing more. But the lie hung between us, fragile as glass. I walked past her into the house, the keys still in my pocket like a burning coal. Evening fell, and we ate takeout in silence, the air thick with unspoken words. She tried once, reaching for my hand. Logan, please. Trust me. I pulled away. Trust is earned. Night deepened, and I lay awake beside her, mind mapping next moves. Confront Felix? Wait for the cops. But as thunder rumbled outside, a car engine purred in the drive. Headlights swept the window. I slipped to the curtain, peering out. Felix's truck, idling. He killed the lights, stepped out, glancing around. Harper's phone buzzed on the nightstand, his name. She sat up, whispering, I have to take this. But I grabbed it first. No, we're done with secrets. The door creaked open downstairs. He was coming in. I clutched Harper's phone tighter, the screen glowing with Felix's incoming call like a flare in the dark. Rain pattered against the window, masking the creak of the front door downstairs as it eased open. Harper's breath hitched beside me, her hand reaching out. Logan, wait. But I silenced the phone, sliding it under the pillow. He's here. I whispered, voice steady despite the storm inside. We both knew who. The footsteps on the stairs were slow, deliberate, like someone testing the waters. My SEAL instincts kicked in, scan the room, grab a weapon. I had the lamp on the nightstand, heavy base in reach. Harper sat frozen, eyes wide in the faint moonlight. "What do you do?" she mouthed, but I held a finger to my lips. The steps paused outside our door, then a soft knock. "Harper?" "It's me." Felix's voice, hushed and urgent, cut through the rain. She glanced at me, pleading, but I shook my head. "No more hiding." I rose silent, crossing to the door in 2 strides. The knob turned from the other side, unlocked. Stupid mistake. I yanked it open just as he pushed in, our faces inches apart. Felix stumbled back, surprise flashing in his eyes, rain dripping from his jacket. "What the hell are you doing in my house?" I growled low, blocking the doorway. He recovered quick, hands up like surrender. "Logan?" Harper called. Said it was urgent. Liar. I stepped closer, towering over him. "At midnight. In the rain?" "Try again." Harper appeared behind me, robe clutched tight. "Felix, you shouldn't have come." Her voice wavered, torn between us. He ignored her, locking eyes with me. "Look, man, I just wanted to check on her. After everything." Everything. The word hung, loaded with the affair's weight. I didn't budge. "Get out. Now." But he planted his feet, desperation creeping in. "You don't understand. This isn't what it looks like." Rain drummed harder outside, thunder rumbling like distant artillery. Harper touched my arm. "Let him explain." "Explain?" "After the keys, the map, the texts." I shrugged her off gently but firm. "No. You've had your secrets long enough." Felix's jaw clenched. "Fine. But if you call the cops, it'll blow up on all of us." "Threat? Or warning?" I grabbed his collar, pulling him close. "Try me." He twisted free, backing toward the stairs. "You're making a mistake, Ellis." "Harper knows why." She gasped, but said nothing. As he retreated, I followed him down, watching until his truck peeled out into the night. The door shut with a final click, leaving silence thicker than before. Back upstairs, Harper waited, tears streaking her face. "Why did he come?" I asked, sitting on the bed's edge. She sank beside me, head in hands. "I texted him earlier. Panicked about the police." Partial truth. I could smell it. "And?" She looked up, eyes red. "I told him to stay away. But he worries." "Worries." The word twisted like a knife. I stood, pacing the room. "This ends now, Harper. The affair, the lies, tell me everything." She wiped her eyes. "It's not that simple. Felix, he helped me through tough times. When you were deployed." "Deployed." "The absences that strained us. But helped turning to hotel rooms?" I stopped pacing. "How long?" She hesitated, then whispered, 6 months. 6 months of my life erased in a breath. Grief hit fresh, mixing with the betrayal's burn. But anger stayed leashed, quiet, calculating. Morning came gray and soaked, the rain easing to a drizzle. I left Harper sleeping, her face peaceful in exhaustion, and headed to the station early. Detective Grant was in, sipping coffee at his desk. "Back so soon," he said, gesturing to a chair. I sat, laying out the keys and map from my pocket. "Found these at Felix Harlan's. And he broke in last night." Grant's eyes sharpened, taking the items. "Broke in? You pressed charges?" I shook my head. "Not yet. But connect him to the range." He nodded, making notes. "We'll bring him in today." "Good work, Ellis." Waiting for updates, I met Mason for coffee at a diner across town. He slid into the booth, folder in hand. "Felix's reserves file, dishonorable after that friendly fire. Guy's got a temper." I stirred my black coffee. "And the range?" Mason leaned in. He scouted it multiple times. Forum posts about private spots for practice. But here's the kicker. Harper co-signed a loan for him last year. Big one. Loan. My mind raced. Money troubles? Covering the affair's tracks? "Thanks, Mason." "Oh, you." Home by noon, the house felt emptier. Harper was up, making sandwiches, but her movements were mechanical. Police called? She asked, not looking at me. I nodded. Felix is their focus now. She froze, knife mid-slice. What did you tell them? The truth, as I know it. We ate lunch on the porch, the wet yard steaming in the sun. She picked at her food. Logan, before you judge. I was lonely. Lonely. The word stung, but I saw her side. My long absences, the silence after missions. Still, it didn't excuse the knife in my back. And now? I asked. She reached across the table. I choose us. Please. Afternoon brought Clara and Adrian. Uninvited but welcome for the distraction. They brought board games, trying to force normalcy. No more heavy talk, Clara insisted, setting up the table. We played, laughter forced at first, then genuine in spots. Adrian won a round, grinning. Seals can't beat my strategy. But as evening neared, tension resurfaced. Harper excused herself early, claiming fatigue. Clara pulled me aside in the kitchen. She's scared, Logan. Whatever's going on, give her grace. Grace. I wanted to, but the evidence piled against it. After they left, I checked the mailbox. A plain envelope, no stamp. Inside, a photo of Harper and Felix at the range fence, dated a week before the shooting. Stamped on back. She knew. Knew what? That he was there? Setting a trap? My hands shook as I pocketed it. Confront her now? No, build the case. I called Grant. New evidence. Photo of them at my property. He sighed. Bring it in tomorrow. We're questioning Felix at 4. Night fell uneasy. Harper tried talking in bed, curling against me. I ended it with him. For real. I let her words hang, arm around her loose. But sleep brought dreams of scopes and shadows, waking me with the photo's image burned in. Downstairs, I brewed tea, staring out at the dark yard. Headlights flashed. Another car? No, just a neighbor. Paranoia. But as I turned, my phone lit up. Mason. Felix bolted. Packed a bag, headed out of town. And Harper's loan? Tied to falsified docs. Fraud. Fraud. The pieces clicked. Maybe the shot was to silence her, or frame me for cover. I gripped the counter, resolve hardening. Quiet revenge meant exposing truth, not fists. But with Felix running, the net tightened. A car door slammed outside. Real this time. Peering through the blinds, I saw Adrian's truck, him stepping out with a duffel. Logan? Need to talk. Now. Adrian stood in the doorway, duffel slung over his shoulder, rain from earlier slicking his hair. His eyes were shadowed, like he hadn't slept either. Can't this wait till morning? I asked, stepping aside to let him in. He shook his head, dropping the bag by the couch. No. Sit down, Logan. We settled in the living room, the clock ticking loud in the quiet house. Harper was still asleep upstairs, unaware. Adrian rubbed his face, voice low. I know about Felix. And the range. My back straightened. What do you mean, you know? He leaned forward, elbows on knees. Harper told me months ago. The affair. Said it was a mistake, that she was ending it. Months ago? While I was grinding through training, he knew. Betrayal doubled, hitting from family now. And you didn't tell me? Adrian looked away, guilt etching lines on his face. She begged me not to. Said it would break you. I thought, maybe she'd fix it. Fix it. Like our marriage was a leaky roof. I paced to the window, staring at the empty street. It's more than that. Felix was at the range. Keys. Maps. He set something up. Adrian's head snapped up. What? No. She swore it was over. But doubt flickered in his eyes. I pulled the photo from my pocket, sliding it across the coffee table. Him staring at Harper and Felix by the fence. This was a week before the shot. She was there with him. He picked it up, fingers trembling. Damn it. I confronted her last week. She denied it, but I saw the texts. Texts. So even family was fractured. Why the duffel? I asked, nodding at his bag. He sighed deep. I'm leaving town for a job. But first, I had to come clean. Clara's suspects too. Keeps asking about Harper's stress. Clara, mom to both now, caught in the web. I sat back down, head in hands. The cops are after Felix for fraud. And the shooting. Adrian paled. Shooting? You think he... I nodded. The evidence points there. Harper's involved somehow. We talked low for an hour, piecing what we knew. Adrian admitted seeing Felix's truck near our place late nights, assuming it was work talk. I should have said something sooner. Regret hung heavy, but I waved it off. Water under. Now we focus forward. He stood, gripping my shoulder. Protect yourself, man. And her, if you can. He left with a nod, truck fading into the night. Alone again, I brewed coffee, the steam doing nothing for the chill inside. Family ties, once my anchor, now felt like chains. Dawn broke slow, Harper emerging downstairs in her pajamas, hair tousled. Adrian was here? She asked, pouring cereal. I watched her from the counter. Yeah, we talked. She paused, spoon midway. About you. Felix. Everything. Her bowl clattered to the table, milk spilling. He had no right. But her voice cracked, no fire behind it. I cleaned the mess calm. He cares. Like I did. She sank into a chair, tears falling free. I messed up, Logan. Bad. But the range. I didn't know he'd go there. Didn't know? Or pretended not to. I sat across from her. The photo says different. She wiped her face. He wanted to watch you shoot once. Said it was harmless. I went along to end things clean. Harmless. Until a bullet flew. Tension thickened the air, our words like steps on thin ice. She reached for my hand. Forgive me. I pulled back soft. Not yet. Truth first. She nodded, defeated. Mid-morning, Mason called while I mowed the lawn. The engines hummed, drowning my thoughts. Felix holed up in a motel an hour out. Cops en route. I killed the mower. Good. Any more on the loan? He paused. Yeah. It was for a business flop. Guns and gear resale. Harper fudged her income to co-sign. If audited, she's sunk. Guns. Tied to the range ammo. Send details. Hanging up, I felt the net closing, but questions lingered. Why risk the shot? Insurance? Or dependent on me? Clara arrived for lunch, her knock sharp. Brought soup, she said, hugging me tight before going to Harper. They chatted in the kitchen, voices murmuring. I joined, stirring the pot. Clara eyed us both. You two look like ghosts. What's really going on? Harper forced a laugh. Just recovering. But Clara wasn't buying it. Adrian called me. Said things are rough. Harper shot me a look, betrayal in her eyes now. Clara set bowls down firm. Talk to me. I'm family. We ate slow, the soup warm but doing little to thaw the chill. Halfway through, Harper broke. Mom, I cheated. With Felix. Clara's spoon dropped, clinking loud. Oh, honey. No anger, just pain. The confession hung, pulling us into raw territory. Clara hugged Harper, tears shared. Why? Harper sobbed. Loneliness. Logan's away so much. I stayed quiet, the words landing like distant fire. Clara turned to me. And the shooting? Harper wiped her eyes. I think Felix panicked. Wanted to scare Logan, maybe frame him. Frame me. For what? Clara shook her head. This family's breaking. We finished lunch in heavy silence. Her leaving with promises to pray. Wait. No prayers, just support. Afternoon dragged. Me in the garage sorting tools, mind on the photo and loan. Harper knocked, leaning on the frame. Can we try counseling? Fix us. Her eyes pleaded, vulnerable. I set down a wrench. Maybe. After the truth's out. She nodded, stepping closer. I love you still. The words tugged, old feelings stirring amid the hurt. But trust? Shattered. I hugged her brief, then pulled away. One step. Grant's update came via text. Felix in custody, denying everything. Interrogation ongoing. Relief mixed with dread. What would he spill? Evening brought Adrian back, just for coffee. Cops got him, he asked, stirring sugar. I nodded. Yeah. Harper's opening up. He exhaled. Good. Clara's worried sick. We sat on the porch, stars pricking the sky. You think the shot was meant for her? Adrian asked quiet. Or me? I replied. He frowned. Either way, it's over soon. But as night deepened, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. She's lying. Ask about the insurance policy. Insurance? Harper had upped our life coverage last month, saying for security. My stomach dropped. Upstairs, she slept sound, but I sat vigil, phone in hand. Slipping into her office, I pulled files from the drawer. There, policy doubled, beneficiary me. But a note scribbled. Felix, split if anything happens. Split. Motive. The betrayal deepened, twisting into potential murder plot. Heart racing, I pocketed the note. Confront tomorrow. But as thunder rolled again, tires crunched gravel outside. Not Adrian. A black sedan, idling dark. Someone watching. The black sedan sat idling in the shadows across the street, its engine a low hum under the rumble of distant thunder. I ducked back from the office window, pulse steady but alert, watching the driver's silhouette shift. No lights, no move to approach, just waiting, like a hunter in the brush. Harper slept on, oblivious upstairs, the insurance note crumpled in my fist. Split the payout with Felix? If the shot was meant to kill her, not scare, then I was next on some twisted list. I snapped a photo of the car through the blinds, license plate blurry but catchable, then texted it to Mason. Tail on my house. Run it. Minutes ticked by, the sedan finally pulling away slow, taillights fading down the block. Paranoia? Or real threat? I locked the doors double-check, then sank into the desk chair, the policy file open under the lamp's glow. Harper's signature fresh, dated just before the range day. Beneficiary, me soul. But that scribble, Felix, split if anything, changed everything. Motive for murder, clear as day. Grief twisted with fury. The woman I protected was scheming behind my back. Quiet revenge meant gathering proof, letting the law carve justice. But this close to home, it burned to hold back. Sleep evaded till dawn, me dozing fitful on the couch. Harper found me there, coffee brewing, her robe loose around the bandage. Bad night? She asked, voice soft with concern. I folded the file shut. Couldn't rest. The watcher's gone, but she poured a mug, sitting close. Watcher? Logan, you're scaring me. I met her eyes, the note heavy in my pocket. This policy. You upped it for us, right? Security. She nodded quick. Yeah, after your last checkup. What? Lie detector in her gaze. She held it too steady. And the note about splitting with Felix? Her mug slipped, hot liquid splashing her hand. She winced, grabbing a towel. What note? That's not. I don't know what you're talking about. I pulled it out, sliding it across the table. Her face crumpled, color fleeing. It's not what you think. We talk money troubles. Hypothetical. Hypothetical. Like the affair. Try again. If you died, payout's mine. But split with him? That's premeditated. Tears welled, but she didn't deny. Please, Logan. It was stupid talk. Nothing planned. Her hand reached for mine, trembling. I stood, pulling away. Everything's planned now. Cops will sort it. She sobbed quiet. Don't do this. I love you. Love. The word echoed hollow, but a flicker of our old life tugged. Nights after deployments, her holding me through shakes. Flawed? Yes, but human. Grant called mid-morning, voice clipped. Felix cracked a bit. Admits to the range visits. Says Harper invited him to watch your drills. Claims no sabotage. Invited. Matches the photo, but twists the knife. Insurance angle? I asked, pacing the kitchen while Harper watched from the sink. Grant paused. We'll look into it. Bring her in for statement today. I glanced at her, nodding to myself. Yeah. Afternoon. Hanging up, I turned to Harper. Station. Now. She dried her hands, resigned. Okay. Truth time. The drive to the station was silent, rain starting again in light spits. Harper stared out the window, fingers twisting her ring, my ring. At the precinct, Grant met us in a side room, notepad ready. Mrs. Ellis, walk us through Felix. She sat straight, voice even. We worked together. It started as friendship, then more. I ended it before the shooting. Grant jotted notes. The range? Why go there? She hesitated, glancing at me. He was curious about Logan Seal stuff. I took him once, showed the fence. That's all. Grant leaned in. And the keys? Map. Her eyes dropped. He asked to borrow. For a hike, he said. Lies layered thin. I stayed quiet, letting her words bury her. Grant dismissed her after, pulling me aside in the hall. She's holding back. Felix mentioned a plan for quick cash. Insurance fits. I nodded. Found the note. She's in deep. He clapped my shoulder. Sit tight. Lawyers coming in. Public defender for Felix. Might plea. Lawyer. Adds layers, makes it real. Driving home, Harper broke the silence. I told the truth. Mostly. The word lingered, trust's grave deepening. Afternoon brought Mason's call as we pulled in the drive. Sedans registered to a Victor Kane. Felix's cousin, ex-con with assault charges. Gun nut. Cousin. Family web tightening. He's the watcher? Mason grunted. Likely. Tailed him to a bar last night. Talking loud about fixing the mess. The shot. I thanked him, hanging up as Clara's car arrived, unannounced again. She bustled in with pies, face lined. Heard you were at the police. Everything okay? Harper hugged her tight. Just statements, Mom. Clara eyed me. Logan? Talk. We sat at the table, pie untouched. Felix is involved. Deep. Clara's fork paused. And Harper? Harper jumped in. I messed up, but I'm clean now. Clara sighed. Secrets destroy families. Remember that. She stayed for hours, mediating quiet talks. Harper admitting the loneliness, me sharing the deployment's toll. Clara listened, no judgment, just nods. You both hurt. Heal together or apart. Her words landed soft, stirring something. As she left, hugging us goodbye, Harper turned to me. She's right. Can we try? I searched her face. Remorse real? Or act? Prove it. No more contact. She agreed, eyes earnest. Evening deepened. Me in the garage tinkering with an old scope, mind on Victor. Phone buzzed. Grant. Victor Kane on radar. Questioning tomorrow. Good. But as dusk settled, tires crunched again. I stepped out, spotting Adrian's truck. He hopped out, face grim. Mason called me. This cousin, trouble. We walked the yard, rain holding off. Felix roped him in for muscle, maybe the shot. Adrian stopped. You think Harper knew? I shrugged. Hoping not. He gripped my arm. If she did, what then? The question hung, family loyalty clashing with truth. Inside, Harper set dinner, steak, simple. We ate quiet, but she tried. No secrets anymore. Ask anything. I did. The policy, why Felix? She poked her food. He was broke. Suggested it as a joke. I wrote the note, but never meant it. Joke. On my life. Tension simmered, but I let it pass. Night came, us in bed side by side, but worlds apart. She turned toward me. Hold me. I did, arm loose, but sleep brought no peace. Dreams of scopes sighting on shadows. Woke to banging downstairs. Clock read 2 a.m. Harper stirred. What was that? I slipped out, grabbing a flashlight. Downstairs, back door ajar, wind? No. Footprints in the mud, boot prints leading to the office. Drawers rifled, the policy file gone. Victor? Or someone covering tracks? Heart pounding, I locked up tight. Harper joined me, scared. They took something? I nodded. Our safety net. As sirens wailed distant. Maybe a neighbor's call. The phone rang. Unknown. Notes with us now. Back off, or next shot's real. Click. The voice, Victor's rough. Threat delivered. But in the fear, resolve hardened. Time to end this quiet, before it consumed us all. Sirens grew louder outside. Red and blue lights flashing through the curtains as I held Harper close in the kitchen, her body shaking against mine. The break-in's chill lingered, drawers still ajar, papers scattered like fallen leaves. Police, I murmured, guiding her to the couch. She nodded, eyes wide. What did they want? The note. Obviously, but admitting that meant dragging her deeper. I stayed silent, watching as two officers knocked, badges glinting. Mr. Ellis? Neighbor reported a noise. I explained the door, the footprints, omitting the call. They dusted for prints, nodded at the mud. We'll check it out. Lock up tight. As they left, Harper whispered, "This is because of me." Her guilt raw, but I couldn't comfort. Maybe. Or Felix. Dawn crept in gray, sleep impossible. I called Grant at first light, voice low on the porch while Harper dozed fitful. Break-in last night. Footprints. File missing, the insurance one. He cursed soft. Victor. He's out on bail, courtesy of some lawyer. Questioning him this morning. Bail. Too fast. And Felix. Grant paused. He's talking. Says Harper pushed the policy idea for a fresh start together. Fresh start. Away from me. The words hit like suppressed fire, quiet, but lethal. Bring her in again? I asked. If needed. Stay vigilant. Vigilant. Seal creed, but home felt like enemy territory now. Morning coffee steamed between us at the table, Harper's hands wrapped around her mug for warmth. The cops come back? She asked, voice small. I nodded, stirring mine black. Victor's involved. Felix's cousin. She set her mug down hard. I barely know him. Met once at a work thing. Once. But enough for trouble? Her eyes searched mine, pleading innocence. Logan, I swear, I never wanted this. Wanted. Past tense, but scars ran deep. I reached across, squeezing her hand brief. I believe you. Mostly. The touch sparked old warmth, but doubt shadowed it. She leaned in, forehead to mine. Help me fix it. Fix. Possible. Grief and love tangled, pulling me towards second chances amid the chaos. Mason arrived mid-morning, unmarked car pulling up casual. He handed me a USB drive in the garage, away from Harper's ears. Recordings from the bar. Victor bragging to a buddy. The shot was warning fire, but the wife's in on it for the cash. And on it. My stomach nodded. Harper. Mason shrugged. He says she knew the plan. Knew. The photo, the keys, dots connecting. I pocketed the drive. Thanks. This ends it. He gripped my arm. Careful. Victor's got a temper, and that lawyer's sharky. Lawyer. Adds weight. Turns personal to legal war. Afternoon brought Clara, her car loaded with groceries like normalcy could glue us back. No more solo nights, she said, unpacking in the kitchen. Harper helped, movement slow. We sat for tea, steam rising in the sunlit room. Clara cut straight. Adrian told me about the cousin. This family's cursed with secrets. Harper teared up. Mom, I told Felix to stop. But Victor. Clara hugged her. Enough blame. Focus on truth. Truth. Clara's steady presence grounded us. Her stories of her own marriage's rough patches reminding. Love bends. Doesn't always break. As she left, she pulled me aside. She's scared. So are you. Bridget. Bridge. Maybe, if the fall wasn't total. Grant's call came as rain picked up again. Me on the back patio watching drops hit the grass. Victor's singing. Admits tampering the gate. Planting the casing. To frame you for poaching or something dumb. Says Felix paid him, but Harper was the brains. Brains. Motive clear. Cash. Escape. Evidence. Grant grunted. Policy docs subpoenaed. And Victor's got a burner. Text from her phone. Her phone. The one I'd deleted threads from. Betrayal peaked, but quiet held. No yelling, just cold clarity. Arrest her? I asked. Building case. Come down tomorrow, statement. Tomorrow. Countdown ticking. Home inside. Harper chopped veggies for dinner, knife rhythmic. I watched from the doorway. Victor's talking. She paused, blade hovering. About what? You. The plan. Her knife dropped, clattering. Lies. He doesn't know me. But fear flashed, guilty? Or trapped? I stepped closer. Text from your phone. To him. She backed against the counter, tears flowing. Felix used it once. I didn't know. Used it. Plausible, but trust frayed thin. Prove it. She nodded frantic. Delete everything. Start over. Start over. The plea hung, her hand on my chest. I covered it with mine, feeling her heartbeat. Real, hurting. We try, but no more shadows. Evening unfolded tense. Dinner simple pasta under low lights. We talked surface, favorite memories, pre-affair days. Her laugh came tentative, mine guarded. Remember our first hike? She said, twirling noodles. I did, her hand in mine, world hours. Yeah, simpler, simpler. Bedtime, she curled against me, breath warm. I won't lose you. I held her, arms secure but mind alert. Sleep came shallow, dreams of ranges and rifles blurring with her face. Woke to pounding rain and a knock. Adrian, soaked, face urgent. Cops called. Victor named names, including Mom's. Mom's. Clara? He paced the living room. Said she knew about the loan, helped fudge numbers. Clara? Impossible. Harper stirred upstairs, unaware. Why her? Adrian shook his head. Felix pulled her in, old favor from Dad's business days. Layers peeled, family deeper in the mess. I brewed coffee strong. We confront. Adrian nodded. Station tomorrow. Together. As Adrian left, phone buzzed, unknown again. Truth hurts. Ask your brother about the policy. Brother. Adrian? No. But seeds of doubt planted. Upstairs, Harper waited, eyes questioning. Everything okay? I sat on the bed. Getting worse. Clara might be pulled in. Her face fell. No, she wouldn't. Wouldn't. But secrets multiply. Night wore on, rain relentless. I lay awake, piecing. Victor's threat, Adrian's duffel, Clara's visits. Innocent or cover? The net closed, but who held the strings? Then, a creak downstairs. Not rain. I slipped out quiet, Harper murmuring behind. Hallway dark, but shadow moved in the kitchen. Silhouette tall, Victor? Heart steady. I grabbed the poker from the fireplace. Show yourself. Voice answered, rough. Easy, Ellis. It's Grant. Relief flooded, but wary. He stepped into light, raincoat dripping. Emergency. Victor escaped custody. Armed. He's coming for loose ends. Loose ends. Us. Harper appeared, gasping. Here. Grant nodded. Hide. Back up en route. As sirens wailed closing, the back door rattled, lock turning. Victor's voice snarled through. Open up, or I shoot through. The back door rattled harder, wood groaning under Victor's shoulder as Grant shoved us toward the stairs, his hand firm on his holstered gun. Upstairs now, lock the bedroom. He ordered low, eyes locked on the kitchen shadows. Harper's hand clenched mine, nails digging in, her breath coming fast like she'd run a mile. We bolted up, hearts slamming, the house turning into a fortress against the storm outside and the one breaking in. Victor's curse echoed, Ellis, you ruined it. Followed by splintering wood. Grant's shout cut back. Police. Drop it. But no surrender, just chaos crashing like waves. We barricaded the bedroom door with the dresser, heavy oak scraping across the floor. Harper slid down against it, face ashen, whispering, this can't be happening. I knelt beside her, voice calm through the fear clawing my gut. It ends tonight. Stay low. SEAL training surged. Assess, protect, endure. From below, shouts and thuds. Grant radioing backup. Victor's boots pounding. A shot cracked, muffled by walls. Grant's? Victor's? Harper whimpered, covering her ears. He was supposed to just scare you. Not this. Scare. Her words hung, confirming the shot's intent, twisting fresh pain amid the terror. You knew? I asked, keeping my tone even. She shook her head frantic. Not the gun. Felix promised talk only. Sirens swelled closer, neighbors' lights flicking on like fireflies in the rain. Downstairs, scuffle sounds, grunts, a body hitting floor. Victor yelled, she's the one. The payout. Accusation aimed at Harper, spilling the plot's guts. She buried her face in her knees. It was his idea. I was weak. Weak. The affair, the policy. Now this, layers peeling in crisis. I pulled her up, peeking through the blinds. Cop cars screeched in, lights bathing the yard. Officers swarmed, megaphones barking orders. Victor burst out the back door, gun wild, but floodlights pinned him. Shots rang, warning, then takedown. He crumpled, tackled hard. Minutes stretched eternal until Knox came. Cops clearing rooms. Clear. All safe. Grant's voice, strained but alive. I eased the door open, Harper clinging to my arm. Downstairs, medics tended a grazed shoulder on Grant. Victor cuffed on the lawn, face twisted in rage as they loaded him. Tell M, Harper. We had a deal. He spat before the van doors shut. She sagged against the wall, tears streaming. No deal. Lies. Grant approached, bandage white on his arm. He's done. Felix too. Waved lawyer. Full confession incoming. Full. The web unraveling. Backup milled outside. Statements taken quick under porch lights. Harper sat wrapped in a blanket, voice steadying as she recounted the affair's start. Lonely nights, Felix's charm, the loan as a favor, turning toxic. The policy? Stupid insurance against life. Victor twisted it into murder talk. Murder. Word landed heavy, cops nodding. I added my pieces. Keys, photo, the note. Grant closed his notebook. Charges stick. Fraud, conspiracy, attempted. Attempted. Harper alive, but trust? Fractured. As officers left, the house quieted, rain easing to drip. Adrian arrived first, bursting through the front door, face etched worry. Heard sirens. You okay? He hugged Harper tight, then me, gripped strong. Victor's caught. I nodded, sinking onto the couch. Yeah. Spilled everything. Clara followed minutes later, robe over pajamas, eyes scanning us like fragile glass. My God, what a night. She brewed tea, hands busy to steady. We sat around the living room, steam rising, the adrenaline crash hitting hard. Adrian broke silence. Felix mentioned Mom in his ramblings. Clara stiffened. Me? Ridiculous. But her voice wavered, eyes on the floor. Harper looked up, blanket tight. Mom, the loan. Felix said you signed off. Clara set her cup down deliberate. He called once, desperate. I said no. But I didn't tell you, Logan, because family. Didn't tell. Another layer, small but stinging. Clara covering for Harper's mess indirectly. Adrian rubbed his neck. I knew bits. Thought it'd blow over. Blew over into bullets. I exhaled slow. No more. All cards down. They nodded, the room thick with shared regret. Clara reached for Harper's hand. We heal from here. No judgments. Heal. Word warmed. Family pulling together amid ruins. Dawn lightened the sky as we talked deeper, rain gone. Harper opened full. The motels, guilt eating her. Felix's pressure for cash to flee debts. I ended it twice. He wouldn't stop. Ended. But the range visit? Curiosity, then threat. He said he'd expose us if I backed out. Expose. Blackmail shadow. I listened, hurt fresh but perspective shifting. Her flaws human, mine too in the absences that drove the wedge. Adrian shared his guilt, Clara hers in silence. We all faltered, she said soft. Faltered, not failed. Grant returned by morning, coffee in hand. Victor's full statement typed. Plot. Felix tampered the range for a warning shot to pressure you into divorce. Split insurance if things went south. Victor pulled trigger. Misfire meant to graze. Harper knew the scare plan, not the gun. Knew. Partial guilt, but no murder intent. Harper read it. Tears falling anew. I should have stopped him. Grant nodded. You did, by coming clean. Clean. Charges loomed. Accessory for her. Full for them. But plea possible. Lawyer tomorrow, he said, leaving us to absorb. Afternoon brought quiet. Me and Harper walking the yard, sun breaking clouds. Forgive? She asked, hand in mine tentative. I stopped, facing her. Working on it. Step by step. Step. Her smile faint, real. Inside, Adrian and Clara prepped lunch, sandwiches, normalcy creeping. We ate on the patio, laughter tentative, but there, bonds mending slow. Adrian joked about his bad aim in the army, lightning air. Clara shared old photos, pre-marriage days, reminding roots. But evening shadows lengthened. Phone buzzing. Felix's lawyer, public defender Quentin Hale. Client wants meet. Tomorrow, station. Meet. Closure? Or trap? I agreed, hanging up. Harper overheard. What for? To hear his side. End it proper. She nodded, fear lingering. Night fell gentle. Us in bed closer, her head on my chest. Scared I'll lose you, she murmured. Not losing. Learning. Learning. Sleep came easier, dreams less haunted. Woke to birdsong, but Mason's text jarred. One more twist. Insurance company's own probe. They suspect foul play, payout frozen. Felix's endgame crumbles. Crumbles. Karma's quiet hand. As I dressed, a knock. Quentin, early, suit crisp. Mind if I prep with you? Prep. I let him in, coffee offered. He sat, briefcase open. Felix claims Harper orchestrated, but evidence says otherwise. Plea deal in works. 10 years. 10. Justice served, no blood. But as he talked, Harper entered, face set. Tell him the truth, she said firm. Truth. The final piece falling. Quentin Hale sat at our kitchen table, sunlight slanting across his legal pad, scribbling notes as Harper paced the tile floor. His eyes flicked between us, sharp like he was sizing witnesses. Felix insists on seeing you both before the plea, he said, adjusting his glasses. Says it'll clear the air. Clear. After the lies stacked knee-deep, I leaned against the counter, arms crossed. What does he want, Mercy? Quentin shook his head. Closure. Or so he claims. Victor's corroborated most. The scare shot, the policy push. Harper stopped pacing, hands on hips. I pushed nothing. He dragged me in. Dragged. Her voice edged with the hurt of being used, but I saw the tangle. Choices made in weakness. We drove to the station together, the car ride thick with unspoken weight. Harper stared out at passing trees, fingers drumming her knee. You believe me now? She asked quiet. I kept eyes on the road. Believing's one thing. Healing's another. Healing. The word tasted like fragile glass. Sharp edges from the betrayal, but glimmers of our old life shining through. At the precinct, Grant met us in the lobby, face tired from the night shift. Felix is cuffed and holding. No tricks. Tricks. Too many already. We filed into a stark room, one-way mirror gleaming, chairs scraping as we sat. Felix shuffled in, chains rattling, his once smooth face haggard under the fluorescence. Eyes bloodshot, he fixed on Harper first. You came. Voice raspy, no charm left. She sat ramrod straight. To end this. He nodded slow, glancing at me. Logan, I never hated you. It was her pulling away. Pulling away. Blame shifted like sand. I stayed silent, letting him spill. Quentin leaned in. State your piece, Harlan. Felix swallowed hard. The loan tanked my business. Harper co-signed, knew the risk. When it crashed, she suggested the policy. Life insurance for us, she said. Split it, start new. New. Away from me, the deployments, the life we built. Harper's chair scraped back. Lies. You hounded me for months. Said the insurance was backup for your debts. Debts. Felix's eyes narrowed. You flirted with escape. Texts prove it. Texts. Deleted, but ghosts lingered. Grant cleared his throat from the corner. Evidence shows your initiations, Felix. Policy was her signature, but your calls pressured. Pressured. Felix slumped, chains clinking. Fine. Victor. He was the gun hand. I told him graze her. Make it look accidental. Push Logan to leave. Claim stress payout. Accidental. The shot that nearly killed her, twisted into divorce ploy. My fists clenched under the table. Quiet rage, no outburst. Harper leaned forward, voice breaking but strong. And the range? You forced me there. Threatened to tell Logan everything. Felix met her gaze, regret flickering. I was desperate. Thought seeing your world would pull you back. Pull back. Delusion wrapped in obsession. I finally spoke, tone even. It almost killed her. And me. Felix looked away, chains shifting. I never wanted death. Just out. Out. Of debts, of her regrets. Quentin jotted final notes. This changes nothing. Please stands. Guards led Felix out, his shoulders hunched, the door clicking shut like finality. Grant pulled us into his office after, coffee offered all around. His story lines up with Victor's. Conspiracy to defraud, attempted harm. Harper, your accessory at best, likely probation with testimony. Probation. Mercy for her part, justice for the rest. She exhaled shaky. Thank you. I nodded at Grant. The watcher, the break-in? He sipped his brew. Victor, covering tracks, grabbing the note to burn it. Burned. But truth outlasted fire. We left the station lighter, sun high now, but shadows clung. Home waited empty. Adrian and Clara at work, giving space. Harper and I sat on the porch swing, creaking gentle. That was hell, she said, head on my shoulder. I let it stay. But over. The words settled, grief easing into something like peace. She turned to me. The affair, it was escape from my fears. Your dangers abroad, my emptiness here. Emptiness. I saw it clear, my mission's left void she filled wrong. I left you alone too much. Alone. Mutual flaws, bridgeable maybe. Her hand found mine. We fill it together now. Together. Tentative yes. Afternoon brought a call from the insurance rep, Lila Torres, voice professional. Policy frozen, pending investigation. But with statements, no fraud on your end, Mr. Ellis. No fraud. Payout void, but security intact. Our real kind, not paper. Thanks, I said, hanging up. Harper overheard from the kitchen. Clean. I nodded. Clean. She smiled faint, real spark there. We cooked lunch side by side. Stir fry, simple, talk flowing to future. Counseling, she suggested, chopping peppers. Yeah. And more time home. Home. The anchor we'd both drifted from. Adrian swung by evening, toolbox in hand. Heard the meeting. Felix done. I clapped his back. Singing like a bird. Clara. He set the box down. She's coming over. Wants family dinner. Family. Clara arrived with salads, her hug fierce. Proud of you both, she said, setting the table. We ate under warm lights, stories shifting to light. Adrian's job laughs, Clara's garden wins. Harper joined in, her laugh genuine, hand brushing mine under the cloth. Bonds mended, not perfect but stronger for cracks. But as night fell, Quentin called back. One twist, Felix mentioned a bigger player. The lawyer who bailed Victor? Tied to his old reserves unit. Covering old debts. Bigger player. Not over. I gripped the phone. Details. Tomorrow. Meet at my office. Tomorrow. Loose thread, but I'd pull quiet. Hanging up, I joined the others, face neutral. Dinner wrapped warm, hugs at the door. Adrian lingered. You good? Getting there. Getting. Truth half out, but full circle neared. Bedtime, Harper close, her breath steady. Whatever's left, we face it. We. The word held weight, trust rebuilding brick by brick. Sleep came deep, no dreams of shots. Woke to birds, but Mason's text, lawyer's name, Preston. Ex-SEAL, dishonorable like Felix. Connection. Past missions. My gut tightened, ghost from service rearing. I dressed quick, kissing Harper's forehead. Station run. Back soon. She stirred. Be safe. Safe. Irony thick, but I nodded. Drove to Quentin's office, city traffic humming. He waited, files stacked. Preston bailed Victor to silence him. Knew about the reserve's friendly fire Felix botched. Covering that scandal, using the plot as distraction. Scandal. Felix's discharge, the temper. And Harper. Quentin shook head. No tie, just Felix's mess spilling. Spilling. Relief washed, but questions for Preston. Confront him? Quentin smiled thin. My job. You stay out. Out. Quiet role suited, letting law handle the hunt. As I left, phone rang. Grant. Preston's in custody. Tip let us. Your Mason? Mason. Ally solid. Charges. Obstruction, conspiracy. Webb's cut. Cut. Full unravel. Driving home. Sun high. Weight lifted clean. Harper waited on the porch, coffee ready. Done. I sat beside her, sipping. Done. Her hand in mine, squeeze firm. Peace settled, betrayal scar fading to lessen. But one call left, Clara, inviting walk. Talk more. Yeah. More. The healing path, step by step. Quentin's office door clicked shut behind me as I stepped into the bustling hallway, the scent of stale coffee and printer ink lingering in the air. The drive home unfolded under a clear blue sky, the kind that washes everything clean after a storm, and for the first time in weeks, my shoulders felt lighter, no more weight of unanswered questions crushing down. Preston was in custody, his shady ties to Felix's old reserves unit exposed like a bad bluff in poker. The whole mess, the fraudulent loan, the twisted insurance plot, Victor's wild trigger finger, had unraveled overnight, thanks to a tip that led straight to his doorstep. Felix and his cousin were staring down years behind bars, their greedy scheme collapsing under the evidence we'd all pieced together. Harper's role? The judge saw the coercion, the manipulation from Felix's endless pressure. Probation for her, with mandatory counseling and a clean record if she stayed straight. No jail time, just the hard work of facing her choices head on. I turn onto our street, the familiar curve of the driveway pulling me back to the life we'd nearly lost. Harper was out in the garden when I pulled up, kneeling in the dirt with gloves on, pulling weeds from the flower beds she'd planted years ago. The scar from her wound was healing under her shirt, faint now, like the marks this whole nightmare left on us. She stood as my truck rumbled to a stop, brushing soil from her hands, her eyes searching mine from across the yard. It's really done? She asked, voice tentative but hopeful, stepping closer with that familiar sway in her walk. I killed the engine and met her halfway, the grass soft under my boots. All of it. Charges stick for them. Fresh start for us. Fresh start. The words landed easy, no bitterness clinging to them anymore. She exhaled long, like she'd been holding her breath since the shot rang out, and leaned into me, her arms wrapping around my waist. I don't deserve this, she murmured against my chest. Deserve. We'd both earned our pains, but grace was the choice now. We headed inside together, the screen door creaking like an old friend welcoming us back. The house smelled of lemon cleaner. She'd been tidying, a habit when nerves hit. Lunch came together quick. Turkey sandwiches on fresh bread, slices of cheese and tomato, eaten standing at the counter with the window open to the breeze. We talked about the little things, the ones we'd let slip during the chaos. Her wanting to repaint the kitchen a softer blue, me promising to fix the leaky faucet in the bathroom. No more solo trips to the range for a while, I said, taking a bite, the mustard sharp on my tongue. She nodded, setting her plate down. And no more secrets. Ever. Secrets. The poison that had seeped into every corner of our marriage, starting with her late nights and Felix's lies, blooming into bullets and break-ins. But saying it out loud now felt like closing a book, not tearing pages. Adrian's text buzzed my phone mid-meal. Clara's doing family dinner tonight. Roast and all. You in? I showed Harper the screen, her face lighting up with a real smile, not the forced ones from therapy sessions. Tell him yes. We need this. Need. Family had been our rock through the storm. Clara's quiet strength, Adrian's no-nonsense support. Even when their own secrets, like Clara's unspoken knowledge of the loan, came to light. We finished eating side by side, shoulders brushing, the easy rhythm of coupledom creeping back in ways I'd almost forgotten. Clara's house glowed warm as dusk fell, porch light on, the smell of roasting chicken wafting out before we even knocked. She pulled the door open wide, apron dusted with flour, and enveloped Harper in a hug that lingered, then turned to me with the same fierce grip. "Come in, you two. Food's almost ready." Almost ready. Her kitchen was alive, pots simmering on the stove, Adrian chopping veggies at the island, his knife steady and sure. "About time," he said, grinning as he slid a cutting board my way. "Grab an onion." We worked together, the chatter light, Adrian ribbing me about my seal precision being useless in a kitchen, Clara sharing how the garden tomatoes were finally ripening sweet. No heavy dives into the scandal, no rehashing the courtroom details, just the comfort of routine, plates clinking as we set the table. Dinner unfolded around that worn oak table, the one scarred from years of family meals. Roast chicken golden and juicy, mashed potatoes creamy beside green beans snapped fresh. Laughter bubbled up natural, starting with Adrian's story of a job site mix-up where a crane nearly dropped a beam on his lunchbox. "Swear, I saw my life flash, mostly regrets about bad takeout," he said, fork waving for emphasis. Clara chuckled, passing the gravy boat. "You always were dramatic." Harper joined in, her voice gaining strength as she teased Adrian about his cooking attempts. "Remember that barbecue where the burgers turned to hockey pucks?" The room filled with easy warmth, hands passing dishes, eyes meeting across the table without the shadows of doubt. Under the cloth, Harper's fingers found mine, a gentle squeeze that said more than words. "We're here, together." As plates emptied, Clara cleared space for dessert, her famous apple pie steaming from the oven, crust flaky and cinnamon-scented. Adrian leaned back in his chair, napkin tucked into his collar like a kid. "Heard the final ruling today. Probation suits you, sis." "Suits." Harper met his gaze, no flinch. "I got lucky." Judge saw the whole picture. Felix pulling strings. Strings. The manipulation that had ensnared her, turning loneliness into a web of deceit. Clara sliced the pie generous, sliding pieces our way. "Luck's part of it, but facing it head-on, that's strength. Strength." Her words wrapped around us, a quiet affirmation after the months of unraveling. Talk shifted to forward things, vacation spots, maybe a cabin up north where cell service fades and stars blanket the sky. "Beach sounds good too," I added, fork breaking through warm apple. Harper's eyes sparkled. "Anywhere quiet. Just us, rebuilding." Rebuilding. The image stuck, sand between toes, her hand in mine, no ghost from the range haunting the waves. Adrian raised his glass of iced tea. "To that. And to family sticking when it counts." Sticking. We clinked glasses, the sound clear and ringing, sealing the moment like a promise. The drive home hummed with contentment, streetlights flickering past as stars dotted the deepening sky. Harper rested her head against the window, then turned to me with a soft smile. "Clara's right. This feels like home again. Home. Not just the house, but us, the bond reforged in fire." In bed that night, sheets cool and inviting, she curled close, her breath steady against my chest, hand tracing lazy circles on my arm. "Thank you for not walking away," she whispered, vulnerability raw. I kissed her forehead, holding her tighter. "Worth every fight. We're stronger now. Stronger." The truth of it settled deep, sleep pulling us under gentle, no nightmares waiting. Weeks wove into a new normal. Therapy sessions twice weekly where we unpacked the hurts. My deployment silence feeding her isolation, her choices a desperate grasp for feeling seen. Mornings started with shared coffee on the porch, steam rising as we planned the day, touches lingering longer each time. Harper dove into a community class on gardening, dirt under her nails a badge of growth, while I took up woodworking in the garage, shaping rough lumber into shelves that steadied the walls. Adrian dropped by weekends, tools in tow for projects, his jokes lightening the load. Clara hosted Sunday brunches. Her table always said extra, pulling us into stories of her youth that mirrored our own stumbles. One crisp fall afternoon, leaves turning gold and red around us, we hiked a wooded trail just outside town. Nothing like the range's isolation, but open paths winding through oaks and maples. The air smelled of earth and pine, our steps sinking easy, backpacks light with water and snacks. At the overlook halfway up, the valley spread below like a painted canvas, rivers glinting in the sun. Harper stopped, leaning on a rock, wind tugging her hair. She turned to me, eyes deep with the weight of it all. What if that shot never happened? Would we have ever fixed this, or just kept drifting apart in silence? The question hung high and emotional between us, stirring the what-ifs that still whispered in quiet nights. The road not taken, the pain that forced our eyes open. I pulled her into my arms, the valley wind cool on our faces, holding her as the world stretched vast below. It did happen. And look at us now, stronger, real. We wouldn't trade that wake-up for anything. Anything. Her tears came soft, mixing with a smile. The scar on her side a faint reminder under her shirt, but the one between us healing full. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows through the trees, we headed down the trail hand in hand, the path ahead clear and winding forward, flawed, human, but undeniably ours. Life's quiet revenge wasn't in payback, but in rising from the ashes, one steady step at a time. Story is finished. If this tale of quiet revenge and mending hearts left you hanging on every twist, drop a comment sharing where you're tuning in from. Your city or country lights up our map and makes every story feel connected. What kinds of tales pull you in the most? More family betrayals, edge-of-your-seat thrillers, or epic justice arcs? Tell us below, and we'll craft the next one just for you. A gentle like and subscribe keeps these stories flowing your way. Join the family, and we'll meet again in the next thrilling ride through heartbreak and healing.